who used lies, false documents, and corporate manipulation to play a shell game with HUD.
Ferrara says Allied misled the government into believing its risky loans qualified for federal insurance. Allied is one of the nation's largest privately held mortgage brokers. The public campaign fighting Bank of America's $5 debit card fee has been a success. The bank announced today it's dropping plans to charge the fee. More than 300,000 people around the country signed on to change.org, a web protest site started by a 22-year-old Bank of America customer. And a closer look at those losses on Wall Street today. The Dow fell 297 points, nearly 2.5%. The NASDAQ fell 77. This is NPR.
Good evening. It's 6:04. Lisa Napoli for KCRW. Southern California Edison says that ammonia leak at San Onofre nuclear plant has been contained as of about an hour ago. Earlier today, some workers were evacuated after employees reported a leak of non-radioactive ammonia. The alert declared at 3 o'clock was the lowest classification used by the nuclear industry. No injuries were reported at the plant 45 miles north of San Diego. $10 million of federal stimulus money has gone down the drain. Thousands of trash screens beneath nearly every storm drain that flows into the LA River have been installed, paid for with the stimulus cash. The screens will keep 840,000 pounds of trash, that's equivalent to 450 VW Beetles, out of the ocean. The LA Times says the stainless steel screens were installed in 16 cities. Sticker shock. Like most construction projects, the much ballyhooed bullet train to the Bay Area is going to cost a lot more than previously thought, twice as much. A new plan unveiled today tallied it up close to $100 billion. Construction will be stretched out by an additional 13 years, meaning the rail would be ready in the year 2033. Arnolmi will have more on the project tonight at 7 o'clock here on Which Way LA. Those are some of the stories we've been following for you this Tuesday. I'm Lisa Napoli. Stay with us as All Things Considered continues now until 7 o'clock here on 89.9 KCRW. It's 6:06.
Support for NPR comes from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, dedicated to the idea that all people deserve the chance to live healthy, productive lives at gatesfoundation.org.
Support comes from the Skirball Cultural Center, presenting England by esteemed British playwright Tim Crouch. 5 nights only, starting November 9th. Experience this thought-provoking play about culture and commerce, staged inside the gallery for the groundbreaking exhibition Women Hold Up Half the Sky, which addresses gender equality as the human rights cause of our time. England, featuring Tim Crouch at the Skirball. Visit skirball.org.
From NPR News, this is All Things Considered. I'm Robert Siegel.
And I'm Guy Raz. Investigators are poring over the books of MF Global today. They're trying to figure out what happened to several $100 million. The investment firm, run by former New Jersey Governor John Corzine, filed for bankruptcy yesterday. It failed in large part because it made ill-timed, multi-billion-dollar bets on European debt. NPR's Yuki Noguchi reports on where all that missing money could have gone.
MF Global may not be a household name, but in commodities and futures trading circles, it was a big player, a major broker of deals.
They were very highly regarded, very highly respected, and I would say had the highest trust of their customers.
Michael Greenberger is a law professor at the University of Maryland, and in the late 1990s, he was director of trading and markets for the U.S. Commodities Futures Trading Commission. MF Global's customers ranged from small family farmers looking to hedge bets on crops to oil companies and private equity groups trading big volumes on commodities. Those clients kept so-called segregated accounts with MF Global, a bit like a consumer might keep a checking account with a bank. By law and by the rules of the exchange, MF Global was not supposed to touch that money.
The purpose of that is to ensure that the money is there for the customer and the customer can get the money.
The problem is, according to regulatory sources, several $100 million seem to have vanished from those accounts. The CFTC is likely to launch a formal investigation in conjunction with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Greenberger says the allegations suggest MS Global tried to shore up its balance sheet by drawing on the cash of its customers. He says it's akin to burglary. Is it illegal? Yes. Are there safeguards? Often there are security systems designed to prevent it, but clearly those failed.
And I suspect, when all is said and done, that we're going to find out that the kinds of procedures, auditing procedures, risk protection procedures, surveillance procedures, were somehow shut off so this could happen.
The question now of how MS Global's clients get their money back is a thorny one, legally. Greenberger says the CME Group, which operates the Chicago Mercantile Exchange and other commodities exchanges MS Global used, is legally obligated to make good on those accounts if MS Global cannot. In an email, a spokesman for the CME Group denied liability. He said any amount no longer in the customer's segregated accounts is MS Global's responsibility. In a conference call this morning, CME Group Chief Executive Craig Donohue mentioned the incident, but declined to take questions.
While we are unable to determine the precise scope of the firm's violation at this time, we are investigating the circumstances of the firm's failure.
Former regulator Michael Greenberger says sorting this out could take some time, especially with MS Global in bankruptcy. He says the case could also get referred to the Justice Department for a criminal investigation. Yuki Noguchi, NPR News, Washington.
From missing money to missing jobs. Last week I went to Las Vegas, one of the country's highest unemployment zones. I was interested in signs of the region's short-term recovery and its long-term prospects. One place I visited was the Las Vegas Culinary Academy, a joint labor management project where workers are trained for hotel jobs.
How did you guys feel about the mock interview? Excellent. Excellent. You feel much better, right? Yeah. Okay.
In Julie Sayatris' classroom, there were 20 middle-aged trainees preparing to apply for new jobs that are very much like the old jobs they just lost. They all worked at the Sherwood Forest Coffee Shop at Excalibur, the medieval-themed casino hotel on the Las Vegas Strip. The coffee shop is closed now, and Excalibur is opening a restaurant themed around the rock band Leonard Skinner instead. That fictional leap in time from Knights in Shining Armor to Sweet Home Alabama is only a little longer than the real leap in time since Julie's students were last on the job market.
When was the last time you went for a job interview? 20 years ago. 20 years ago. And that was a different world back then, right? Okay. Even 20 years ago, they didn't have email or internet. Okay.
Here's the most salient fact about the economy of Las Vegas. Unemployment is down, but it's still over 13%. Not too long ago, it was around 15%. Here's the second most salient fact about Las Vegas. It is home to the country's highest rate of foreclosure. Of course, before it epitomized the housing bust, it was the epitome of the housing boom.
People were building housing for other people building housing, who were building for the hotel workers.
Rob Lang runs the Intermountain West Brookings Institution at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Those jobs, building housing, gone.
And that's the biggest share of unemployment. It's 100,000 displaced workers in that industry across the state, the majority of being in Las Vegas. And in gaming, by contrast, we bottomed in 2009, there's 16,000 jobs added. And, of course, the gaming operations outside of Las Vegas, in China and Singapore, are booming. And that wealth is accruing to the management of those firms.
So the real hurt is in construction. Even so, there are silver linings to that cloud. You can see them in every cul-de-sac.
All right. Smells like new carpet.
If you happen to be looking for a second home, or like Richard Smith of Altus, Oklahoma, you're about to retire and move, then real estate agents like Terry Monroe in suburban Henderson, Nevada, have no shortage of houses to show you, like this one. 2,100 feet, modern kitchen, huge garage.
They're asking
$219,000 for over 2,000 feet, a three-car garage.
a three-car garage. It comes out to $103 a square foot.
What's the history of a house like this? What would it have sold for?
In 2005, would have sold for $450,000 to $500,000.
Lost more than half of its value.
Lost more than half of its value.
Since that time.
Definitely.
Terry Monroe says the real estate market is looking up, slightly, but no one expects construction to return to what it was, 12% of the state's economy, the second biggest local industry. Of course, there is no question about what's number one, gaming. And if people elsewhere praise the job-creating powers of small business, in Las Vegas, big business, big hotel owners historically drive the economy. Carolyn Goodman, the mayor of Las Vegas, cites a common rule of thumb: the ratio of population growth to to increases in the number of hotel rooms, 6 to 1.
Our community will grow by that number, whether it's specifically, for the upkeep of the room, but then we have a cleaner, and we have a market, and we have a dentist, and we have all that growth will continue that we get moving into our city during the high growth period. For every room that was built, this was an early on formula.
Please hold the handrail firmly at all times. Next stop northbound is Harrah's Imperial Palace Station.
This is the monorail that runs around the Las Vegas casinos, connecting mock-ups of Venice, Paris, New York City, Luxor, Camelot. Keep that 6 to 1 ratio in mind. Look at all those imaginative high-rise hotels, skyscrapers in the desert, and you can feel how Las Vegas became, as it used to be, the fastest-growing city in America.
This is the closest station to Forum Shops at Caesars.
These days, the hotels are full, thanks to low room rates. It's widely, if anecdotally observed, that the tourists are spending less than they used to. When tourism fell off in the recession, work on a planned new hotel casino, the Fontainebleau, stopped. And then, a mainstay of the Strip since 1952 closed its doors.
Please note that the Harrah Hotel and Casino closed to the public on May 16, 2011. The Sahara Station will remain accessible via escalators, elevators, and stairs at street level on Sahara Avenue and Paradise Road.
The Sahara employed 1,050 people, and with over 1,700 rooms, apply Mayor Goodman's 6 to 1 ratio, and you can see that the Sahara's end was very bad news indeed. Which raises the question, shouldn't this metropolitan area of 2 million start diversifying its economy? Mayor Carolyn Goodman says yes.
We definitely want to attract the businesses into the state and the different industries. I see IT is incredibly important in programming, and people up in the Silicon Valley need to be coming down here because the weather's perfect. It's the